It is April 2nd, 2016. I'm here in the ECU studio inside the library building, testing out our webcast for the historic event coming up, kind of my final project to do something that's never been done here before, live on the internet, and talk about how to communicate in the 21st century. So before that can happen, I've got to make it happen. And we didn't have internet access in here. We got that going. I didn't have a way to capture this camera into that laptop. Finally got that going with this HDMI capture device right here. And so today, my big issue is I have to be able to take all of that television studio production thing and put that through the laptop rather than just my Handycam camera, which you can kind of see here in the reflection, maybe. And so that means they have a BNC connector coming out of that switcher. They don't have HDMI coming out of that switcher. So inside the studio, I've got a HDMI cable that goes to the program monitor. Problem is, it has video but no audio. So what I'm here today to do is to figure out, although with my Handycam, I do have audio and video, it's all combined going through the HDMI out to the internet, but in the studio when we're actually doing our show, television production show that we're trying to send out over the internet, it's different. The audio is coming from the soundboard, and it looks like it should be going out there through what they call foldback, but doesn't appear to be. So today I've got to figure that out. Why? Got no sound out there, and how to combine that on our webcast into my laptop and out over the internet. And studio foldback is basically what should control sending audio out to my laptop for the webcast, but there's issues with adapters and all kinds of stuff going on. So today, for the HDMI device, it has a little mini jack input right there that you can basically do voiceover of whatever you're webcasting. So this HDMI will be the studio input that goes through the USB cable out through the AC Wi-Fi from ECU to the world, whatever web page I send it to. And so I bought a couple things. I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference. Now I've got these mini jack plugs. This one is mini jack to 2 RCA, stereo RCA. This one is mini jack to mini jack, and this one is the adapter for the mini jack so that I can put it on the end of this cable and have phono, hopefully. The issue is, though, out there, it's all XLR, and they don't have an adapter to anything else. So anyway, that's what's going on today. So I'm going to shut this off, then I'm just going to turn it back on. I've got a few people trying to log in and check it out, help me test it and things like that, my crew and friends. So stay tuned for our continued historic events at ECU. Also now. And you can go there to youtube.com/user/thehometown, one word, /live. And of course, I'll mirror this at uontv.com, my website, maybe even Facebook and stuff when we do the live event. But today we're kind of just testing. So in a minute, I'll be kind of walking around, going through the studio. I'm going to put the lights on back there. That's really where the audio and video needs to be, since I'll have the laptop and stuff on set while we're doing the show. And y'all be able to stay tuned and check it out. Time to fire up the studio, baby. So right now I got basically 4 power buttons that I gotta flip on to kind of turn on the studio and get it going. Power button up there for that rack, 1 there for that rack, and 2 on the last one. No, 2 on that rack and 1 on the last one. Technically, the last one really is those 2 computers on top. Gotta open those doors, turn that on. That'll allow us our graphics computer. And then, of course, the switcher's already on, and the audio board's already on. And I should be able to get some sound just like that. Alright, so we got sound in here, and of course that will go out to somewhere, which at the moment nobody kind of knows. Should go out there to the studio on what they call the fold back. Well, one of the options we put it to. And but I'm going to be testing that. So the studio is pretty much up and running. Oh, I still got to hit those 2 computers on the end. And then I'll go out into the stage area, I guess you call it. Stand by. Okay, so here I think is our problem with the foldback sound. This thing has been plugged in and sitting like that probably for a long time. So it's a phono jack on this end and a female XLR on this end. So I got to figure out how we're going to do it. And If I can repair that, it'll be good. Otherwise, not sure how we're going to get audio, but they don't have an adapter XLR cable going to something different. Got to figure that out. Now, we're going to take a tour of the studio. Of course, right now I'm in the control booth. This is the stage area of the floor. We have a green screen over here, and that's right there, the program monitor that I'm trying to get audio. This little device right there allows us to connect the BNC connector that comes out of the video switcher and show on that TV out there on the floor. Problem is, cannot figure out how to get audio out of that thing and put that, through the HDMI cable that I'll have connected to the laptop or capture device and then connect to the laptop. So, the weird thing is it actually has audio out on the right hand bottom corner, stereo audio out, but there is no audio in. On the left side, all you have BNC connectors and power. So that little device is a mystery to me. I'm not sure why anybody would make an HDMI adapter so you can plug a BNC cable to a TV and not include a way to plug audio into the TV, which is basically that TV HDMI is what we're using to connect to the laptop for the webcast. So that's a problem. That's what we're working on today. So this studio, though, overall is pretty cool. Got 3 cameras here. We'll have those rolled out into the studio. We're using 2 cameras basically for the live webcast. Camera 2, right in the middle here in front of the green, will be pointing at the green screen and allowing me to drop in a background while I'm talking about different things. Green screen's behind that black curtain. And the backgrounds will coincide with the discussion as I talk about how to communicate in the 21st century. We'll be able to see, like, for instance, while I'm talking about telemedicine, a backdrop of a hospital operating room and people walking around and such. And hopefully I'll have 1 or 2 actors on the scene that will be acting out in front of the green screen while I'm talking. And that kind of allows you to develop what they call a Y-axis, the ability to have depth. So as you watch it, you'll have a real hard time trying to figure out what is actually green screen and what is real. And that'll make it a little more interesting. But the subjects are what's really a big deal. The fact that in the 21st century, communication is huge. And the technology for somebody, for instance, right now, to be live around the world, uncensored, don't need permission, just knock it out, with some basic equipment, that's huge. I mean, there's never been a time in history like that. And so demonstrating that's a big deal. And putting that on the show, helping people communicate and teach them. We're also going to be talking about things like distance learning, where we'll have a backdrop of a schoolroom, hopefully. And we'll be an actor or two while I'm talking about how webcams and stuff allow teachers and students and that to be able to chat together, which is a good idea if you were in trouble and got sent home, or you're injured, got to stay home, snow day, things like that. And then we're also going to be talking about stuff like video chatting and web pages, on-demand video, archives, and also things like virtual reality, which to me is really cool. So we'll have some friends of mine probably Skype with us while we're doing the show out there. And I'll have that on my smartphone and just be able to talk with them. and demonstrate to people, you really need to think about using those smartphones with video calls and video conferencing. It's a big deal, man. You could join in with the family on Christmas morning if you didn't make it, or see a wedding, chat with the host or people, the wedding people and all. Just different things you can do with that. And virtual reality is just crazy. Just like the holodeck and Star Trek. It's an amazing time to be alive. Combined with remote robotics and stuff, it's like Star Wars. So I'm going to continue working on setting up the studio, testing out the audio, things like that. And the camera will just be kind of hanging out, looking around. So stay tuned. So that video capture device of mine works off mini plugs, which is kind of a drag. And the studio works off XLR. So I got a few adapters, but I don't even know if the studio's going to be able to handle that. Okay, so my video capture card allows me to plug in a mini jack, normally a microphone or something, but I could also plug in these XLR standard RCA left and right channel audio if I can get an adapter for that. And then this one allows me to plug in my video capture device to 1/4 inch phone plug stereo, and this allows me to do the same if I had something else to plug into like that, which again XLR is not. But this little baby allows me to at least go to phono jack, and so hopefully I can find an XLR cable in the studio that'll adapt to that, and then we'll plug them right in to that little jack there. A lot of technical issues to try to overcome, man, but I just have a vision for this. It's important. The average person being able to webcast around the world uncensored and then archive that to the web page, it's just huge. I mean, if communication separates us from the animals, it's a wonderful time to be alive. The capabilities now of communicating with the rest of the world are unheard of. And so I'm trying to make all that happen. We'll see. And I got about 3 weeks to finish preparations and stuff, and then the live event. And I've got a crew of about 3, plus myself and Professor White, I assume will help out maybe. And together, we're going to pull this off. And hopefully maybe some news media, friends and family, and other folks like that can check it out and watch with us. So I'll be back in a moment while I continue to set up the studio. So right now, I'm basically trying to get some sound out of our audio board so I can patch it in that talk back out there to see if I got anything coming through. And this is our generic CD for the class. We'll use the jingle, I think. I could use the tone generator, but that is annoying. Let's not use that. That's pure piercing. So right now I'm looking at the analytics. Cool thing, I guess, about YouTube's live webcast stuff, they have these analytics. Lets you kind of figure out, how many people are watching, what kind of bandwidth they're using, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And so, of course, nobody really knows what we're doing, but right now it's not much activity, but hopefully, during the event, once everybody knows what's going on, it's going to be huge. Huge. My battery's running dead on the camera. Plug up some power in. Yeah, keep that in mind. That battery don't last long running. That was only about 20 minutes. Okay. So here is the video switcher. This basically allows us to control all the video in the production. The audio, of course, allows the audio, and hopefully the mix is going to go out to that big TV where I can pull that HDMI cord and put it into my laptop. And then those cameras there with the tally lights already on. Not really sure what that's about. They were on when I came in. I've got two cameras lit up here, and you can see there on the monitors. Somebody apparently left them on or something. Well, the third one's on too. And then over here is the graphics computer. This allows us to bring up, slates and graphics for the show. For the hometown, of course, these will be different. The hometown at uontv.com. And then on the end is a couple of things. One is our record deck for the master tape of the production. And of course, as I webcast, I'll have a copy of the show and a video file on my computer. And we'll have this as a copy of the studio production. That won't include anything I do on the computer out on stage during the webcast. So that I'm not even sure what format that is, but the master show will actually be online, fully mixed. And then these computers up here, one of them, I think that one, is what we call the Dragon, and it's our playback system for video files and such. It allows us to play in, like I've got PSAs, public service announcements I'm going to play. You'll monitor it on that monitor right there, on the keyboard. And that'll be sent out through the switcher with audio, hopefully, and to the program cable out here that I have into the laptop on the Wi-Fi, sending out to web page. Then down here on the end, this is our lights behind my backpack there. And they've got a lot of lights here, man. Pretty cool for a studio that nobody uses. And those are kind of sliders that allow me to adjust the lighting however I want. And it, is a full studio, but we'll only be kind of using this corner here on the right where the green screen is. The character generator, the green screen, that kind of thing, we'll be using a lot of that on camera 2, which will be the Dragon, playing back video clips that we'll see on the green screen behind me talking, and hopefully with sound. That's what I'm working on now. And everything should come together. It's going to be really cool. Something our class will be proud of, and for ECU to start thinking about using these kind of technologies and doing live webcasts. And they do some things, of course, but it's all kind of proprietary software. Like, they put our classes online a lot of times. Different professors do. They have the ability. But if you don't have integrity, if you're not a student, you won't see it. You don't have a way to share it on Facebook or anything like that. So with just a basic laptop and my handy cam, along with the video capture device, being live around the world uncensored is really cool. And hopefully more people, more public events, things like that, we'll finally be able to see from ECU, be famous around the world. And I'm happy to pioneer that. Got to go back out and on the floor, working on that audio still. Stay tuned. Gotta get my glasses. Keep thinking I don't need glasses until I can't see. So, if you joined us late, I'm basically in the ECU studios doing some testing of our webcast for a Stork event coming up. About 3 weeks, live webcast, first ever from this studio. Talking about how to communicate in the 21st century. And so this is kind of one of the many dry runs we'll go through to try to test it all. My big issue today is audio. Took a while to get internet access, took a while to get the camera into the computer to capture, took a while to get the software right, to send it out over the internet. And now the only input I have for the computer is an HDMI cable on the floor that is video only. And I got to have audio. So I'm trying to use what they call foldback, which is supposedly a program master mix of the show that goes into the studio area for people to hear with the program monitor. So you kind of know really what's on the air at that moment. And the problem is the cable that was being used for that, been there probably a long time, the XLR to phono. And we're back. A little technical difficulties. I'm not sure why right in the middle of the webcast my camera turned off. But being by myself today in the studio, we're working with what we got. Nice to have a camera. It is so amazing to see YouTube and other people like Facebook and those guys having the capability of live webcasts now, and how far this has come since I first started doing it on dial-up phone lines back in the mid-1990s. And we did a live open mic at a bar called the Harder Bar down in Dallas, and every Wednesday night, live on the internet. And it's become a real fine-tuned science now as I look over what other people have been doing all this time, and I like it. It's so cool, fairly easy to just got new equipment, fire it all up, and connect up to the internet, bam, all over. It's sweet. And considering in my life I've given a lot to help make this happen, this revolution of communication. It's been hard on my family and friends that I was obsessed for years, decades, trying to figure out how to put video into a computer and send that over the internet. First time I did, it was a VCR, and I had to play it into an old Pentium 2 computer and capture it with a video capture device with RCA plugs, and the file was huge compared to my computer hardware. And the quality was low. Slideshow, I had to slow down the frame rate and lower the picture size, a bunch of stuff like that to make it happen, which you can still kind of see on my webpage, uontv.com, the history and evolution of online video from the mid-1990s. And hopefully today another step beyond that, first time ever with HD, having 1080 video to put out over the internet is amazing. Hopefully soon 4K, because my equipment is 4K, but the bandwidth for the Wi-Fi and server, that kind of thing is hard, especially with multiple viewers. But it's all coming along. It'll be interesting to see where it all goes. Stay tuned, I'm going to go back out and work on the audio. I'll write down the model number for that device out there. That's my please stand by message. Let's see. My trusty notebook, which normally has a pen, not now.